What's going on, YouTube? If you happen to come across this video and you like the discussion in which I'm having, comment, engage your man. If you wish to follow along, subscribe to the channel. This is Vernacular TV, being blunt and sparking conversation. Sparking conversation. Clamoring for war. The Israeli lobby in the United States, AIPAC, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, they have been clamoring for war with Iran for a long period of time. At this current time, this war is highly feasible. And the lobby is going to get what they want. The artillery industry, the manufacturer, military industry complex, been clamoring for war with Iran. The neoconservative has been clamoring for war with Iran. This war may be feasible in this current climate. President Donald Trump, when he came to power, he stated that he was anti-war. He was going to end the war in Ukraine. Yet, the war in Ukraine has not ended. He said he was going to end the Gaza genocide. He was going to end that conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Yet, that conflict still goes on. President Donald Trump is in a tight spot because MAGA will not acquiesce to Israel clamor for war with Iran. You see conservative personnel such as Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. These people are anti-war with Iran. They know what the Zionists is pushing. They do not want America to spend any more of its treasure and its sons and daughters fighting on the behalf of the Zionist ambition in that region. People are waking up. Discussion is being had everywhere. The Israeli Prime Minister, he got no filter. He has a war in Lebanon, Syria. He's fighting the Houthis. And now he just went into Iran, in the capital city of Iran. Killed the nuclear scientists. Killed the Revolutionary Guard. Killed some civilians. Last year, Iran and Israel had a spat when Israel bombed Iran consulate in Syria. But it came to a cessation because the international community was able to mediate. But this time around, this war is hot. Iran has retaliated in Tel Aviv, in Haifa. Iran is retaliating with barrages of ballistic missiles that has put the Israeli population in bunkers, in shelters. Some of them are fleeing and going back to Europe. This conflict will create a catastrophe for the whole international community, for the whole international system, for food price, for gas price. This conflict is going to set back the economy for a long period of time if it continues to conflagrate like it is. President Donald Trump found himself in a very difficult situation because MAGA will not acquiesce to Israel clamor for war with Iran. But Trump cannot get out of this situation because his donor, the Addison family, Sheldon Addison, he's dead now, but his wife supported Trump heavily during the campaign trail. Spent over $100 million supporting Trump. Remember, in Trump's first term, he declared Israel, Jerusalem, as the capital of Israel, against all international understanding of that conflict of that region. Trump unilaterally did so because Sheldon Addison told him to do so in his first term. Addison is dead now, but his wife carried on his legacy. pushing the Zionist cause. Trump is bogged down in a situation he is not going to be able to get out. AIPAC, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, is going to stuck Trump. They're going to stuck him. The war is on right now. But they're going to need the public consent. And many people in the Republican Party, the people, not the politician, because politicians such as Lindsey Graham and Mark Huckabee, these guys are Zionist hawks. They want the war with Iran. The neoconservative want the war with Iran. But MAGA, the true MAGA, the people that wants America great, the average people, they don't want no more war, no more foreign war on behalf of Israel. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, many conservative political analysts are giving their viewpoint and pushing back against this conflict. The Prime Minister of Israel have been lobbying the United States over the last 20-something years to cut the head of the snake, to get rid of the Iranian regime. This is what this is about. This is not about the nuclear situation, because Iran is a signatory of the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Iran is also a signatory of the IAEA inspection on its nuclear program. Israel said she is taking a preemptive strike on the Iranian nuclear facility to disallow her from making nuclear weapons. Quite hypocritical. As Jimmy Carter stated, Israel got hundreds of nuclear weapons in the desert of the moon. You understand? The United States is a nuclear weapon state. Russia, China, Pakistan, India, Great Britain, France, they all have nuclear weapons. But they don't want rising power to get that same power. You understand? This war is going to be a catastrophe. It's going to be a catastrophe. They're going to need the consent of the people. So that's why they're going to need protesting. ICE is going to be raiding people all around the nation. You might start to see extrajudicial killings of this kind of pigmentation going to rise, because they're going to want African Americans to take to the streets. African Americans have been sitting back while ICE do his thing with the immigrants, because if African American feels that the immigrant haven't supported their cause, so ICE, they're not coming to the immigrant rescue. But they're going to need protests. They're going to need people dissenting in the street in order to consolidate this war, in order to consolidate the consensus of going to this war. The media is going to push, and I won't be surprised if there is some false flag happening saying that the Iranians have attacked the United States to get the United States into this conflict. They want this war. Israel won the war. The Prime Minister, Netanyahu, won this war. He is not going to survive. There's a criminal warrant for his arrest at the ICC for war crimes. He is facing all kind of allegations within his own nation state. Corruption, robbery. He won this war because he cannot come out of power. He's going to face the music in his own country, or he ain't going to be able to travel without being arrested, depending on where he's going. Israel won this war. They're going to push Donald Trump into this war. Trump has to listen to his MAGA base. They don't want no war. But Trump is already in the war. The war already begun in Trump's first term. Trump killed Iranian General Soleimani. Hassan Soleimani, when he was in Iraq. That general is a part of the revolutionary of 1979. You understand? So the war with Iran is already on. Trump is already in there. He's a part of it. He coordinated with the Israelis to divert the Iranians' attention, so the Israeli can sneak attack them. He approved of it. But this war is going to get out of control. We, the average people, we're going to suffer. We are going to suffer. We are going to suffer. This war is a catastrophe. It's not going to bring America no growth, no nothing. You understand? It's going to bring the military-industrial complex and the apparatus growth, wealth. But the men and women of this country is going to have to bear the burden. You understand? Trump is already in this war. But they're going to need consent. And they're going to have to manufacture a consent. They're going to have to lead us into this war, because now we know about Iraq. We know about Libya. We know the conflict that been going on in Syria, the backing of ISIS and other members in Syria to overthrow that regime. We know the plan of the project of a new American century. The overthrowing of these regimes. Gaddafi is gone. Saddam is gone. Bashar Assad is gone. Now they want to overthrow the Iranian regime. Iran has been preparing for a long period of time. Military analysts will tell you they've been preparing for a long period of time, because they know they are facing an existential threat from Israel and the United States and her ally. Israel cannot defend herself against Iran by herself. The Jordanians are helping the Israelis. The Saudis are shooting down planes, or the United States is helping the Israeli. The Turkish, you understand? Gulf, some of the Arabs is helping the Israeli to divert this attack. So Israel cannot face Iran on its own. It needs the United States. United States has positioned its military equipment in that region, ready for this conflict. This conflict is going to cause havoc on the global economy. We saw the war in Iraq, over 1 million people dead on false intelligence, saying Saddam was producing weapons of mass destruction, and it came to be a lie. Who advocated for that war? You have many video clips out there of the Israeli Prime Minister advocating removing Saddam Hussein from power, that it was going to strengthen U.S. position in that region. But it hasn't strengthened U.S. position in that region. Billions of American taxpayer dollars has been spent in Iraq. The damage is done. But now who in control of Iraq? The Iranians have become the de facto power in Iraq. But the Americans spend their money, their treasure, their blood, their sweat, their tears. MAGA will not acquiesce to Israel clamor for war with Iran. But the news is going to drag us along with this narrative. They're going to have all kind of military analysts coming on TV saying that the war is going to be so easy. The U.S. can just go there and do this and do that and do that. We saw with Iraq what happened. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's going to damage that whole region. It's going to damage the international global economy. The oil market going to skyrocket if Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz. If Russia, China gets involved, this conflict is going to spiral out of control. If Iran start bombing all the Gulf oil facilities and stuff like that, what's going to happen? The United States going to have to intervene. You start bombing the Saudi oil gas field, the Emiratis, the Qataris, you start bombing the gas field, Iran would do it, because you see that ballistic missile barrage on Israel. Iran is a ballistic missile power. Iran poses a true threat to Israel when it comes to ballistic missile. Iran is a strong power. They have been developing the indigenous military application, same thing as the United States military industrial complex. Iran got its own military industrial complex. They've been developing drones, ballistic missiles, submarine, all kind of stuff on the cheap price. You know what I'm saying? On the cheap price. Very, very cheap. Cheap stuff. But those cheap stuff do a lot of damage. In the U.S., when we shoot one missile, it costs millions of dollars of American taxpayer. Iran be making them stuff for cheap. You understand? They are a military power in that region. And this war going to be a catastrophe. The international community need to come together. The United Nations, there was a conference, an urgent conference on Friday about this conflict. Because this conflict can get out of hand. This conflict can get out of hand. We saw Iraq. Nothing is easy. War is not easy. We saw Libya. We see what's going on in Ukraine. Millions of people dead. They're going to sell you that lie that we can just go in there and just do this real quick. No, we saw Afghanistan, 20-something years. Iran is not Afghanistan. Iran is not Hezbollah. Iran is not Gaza. Iran is not Iraq. Iran is not Libya. Iran know it is facing an existential threat from both Israel and the United States. So Iran been preparing. It's going to disrupt that whole Gulf. Iran going to burn that shit down. They're going to burn it down because if they feel like their survival is on the line, they're going to burn it down. They're going to burn it down. It's going to be a problem. It's not going to be easy, man. Iran got Navy, they got Air Force, they're a sovereign nation. They can't beat the United States and its ally, but Iran can create a lot of damage. A lot of damage in that region. The Strait of Hormuz, where 2/3 of the world oil passes through. To go to Europe, to come to America. America cannot allow Iran to shut the Strait of Hormuz down. She will have to use her military power because the war is not going to last. The global market is going to crash. If that strait still closed for a long period of time, the global economy is going to crash. It's going to be a problem. China is not going to sit back either because China is going to be affected. China needs that oil and gas. Russia might benefit from this. This conflict is going to get out of hand. The international community needs to restrain Israel and restrain Iran. They got to bring them to the table. Iran was in negotiation with Trump on the 6 terms of negotiation. The 6th meeting of negotiation. Iran was scheduled to have it with Trump yesterday, on Sunday, before the Israeli sneak attacked them, saying they had to take preemptive measure to stop the Iranian. This conflict is getting out of hand. We, as the average people, we should not support this war. Because this war is going to take away freedom of speech. This war is going to take away freedom of assembly. Even in America. You understand? You're not going to have no freedom of speech. You are not going to have freedom of speech, freedom of dissent. They're going to label everybody one group like domestic terrorists. They're going to label everybody Hamas. They're going to label everybody like the university students. You understand? Now protesting their viewpoints. Everybody going to be in this one boat. You come over there to express your grievance, political, economical grievance, social grievance. They're going to label you all as one, as some foreign terrorists working domestically to destroy America. So this war, we shouldn't consent to it. They're going to manufacture consent. I saw it. After the World Trade Center, when they went into war with Iraq, all the lies, all these experts coming on TV and saying how it's going to be so easy. The cost is going to be so cheap. They can go there and just do this and do that. See the toll this took on the American economy. See what Afghanistan took on the American economy. You understand? America is not in a good position in the Middle East. America is still strong, but she's not in a good position in the Middle East. The anti-American sentiment is so strong. The anti-Israeli sentiment is so strong. You understand? America should not go to this war. Like Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul said, he do not support this war. He do not support this war. But the Israeli lobby, this powerful lobby, the media apparatus, the military-industrial complex, they're going to push this war. They're going to push this war because they won this war. Their pocket's going to get filled. They're going to get rich. You understand? The armed industry going to get rich. The banking sector going to get rich because they're going to fund both sides. The people don't need this war. But will MAGA acquiescence, or will they not acquiescence to Israel clamor for war with Iran? Chime in your thoughts.